Have you ever been judged before you even had a chance to speak? This is the story of a remarkable woman who faced that exact moment. Dismissed, humiliated, and underestimated in front of a crowd. But what happened next left everyone speechless. Her response was a masterclass in justice and transformation. If you love inspiring stories of resilience and justice, subscribe to Epic Stories for more incredible content like this. The beginning of a journey, the morning sun bathed the private airport terminal in a golden glow, casting light across the sleek glass facade. Expensive cars lined the entrance, and uniformed chauffeurs opened doors for executives and high-profile clients. Inside, the air smelled of fresh coffee and leather upholstery, a symbol of wealth and luxury. Among the crowd was Dr. Eliza Westbrook, a woman of elegance and confidence. Her black tailored blazer perfectly complemented the silk blouse beneath it, and her sleek hair was tied into a neat low bun that shimmered in the sunlight. Eliza was more than just a passenger that day. She was the owner of the jet she was about to board. Her heels clicked softly on the polished marble floors as she made her way to the check-in counter. Every move she made exuded quiet confidence and calm. The attendant at the counter greeted her with a polite but distant smile. "Good morning, ma'am," the attendant said. "May I have your name and flight details, please?" "Eliza Westbrook," she replied, her voice steady but warm. "I have a private flight to Chicago." The attendant's fingers flew over the keyboard as her eyes scanned the screen. After a brief moment, she smiled and nodded. "Yes, Dr. Westbrook, you're all set. The jet is ready, and the crew should be boarding shortly. Would you like to wait in the VIP lounge or prefer to board now?" "I'll board now, thank you," Eliza replied with a small smile. "Of course, ma'am. It's gate 7, just past the VIP lounge. Have a wonderful flight." With a nod, Eliza walked toward gate 7. Her footsteps were light yet purposeful as she approached her jet. Its silver body gleamed in the sunlight, a symbol of the hard work she had poured into her career. But as she neared the aircraft, a tall, broad-shouldered man in a captain's uniform stepped forward. His posture was rigid and his face cold. His name tag read Captain Daniel Harris. "The confrontation, can I help you, ma'am?" Captain Harris asked, his tone less polite than it should have been. "I'm here for flight to Chicago," Eliza replied, her tone calm but firm. Captain Harris's eyes scanned her from head to toe, glancing at her designer suitcase before returning to her face with a faint smirk. "This is a private flight, ma'am," he said, folding his arms. "I think you might be at the wrong gate." Eliza's eyebrows lifted, but she remained composed. "This is gate 7, correct?" she asked. "It is," he confirmed. "But this jet is for private clients only." Eliza's gaze remained steady. "I am a private client," she replied firmly. Captain Harris's smirk deepened. He chuckled, shaking his head. "Look, ma'am, I'm not sure who told you that, but this isn't the type of flight you just book online. This flight is exclusively for high-level executives." Eliza felt her grip tighten on her suitcase, but she didn't raise her voice. Instead, she took a steady breath. Before she could respond, a flight attendant approached, a woman named Sarah, carrying a clipboard. She glanced at Eliza, then turned to Captain Harris. "Is there a problem?" Sarah asked, her eyes darting between the two of them. "Just a bit of confusion," Captain Harris replied dismissively. "She thinks she's on this flight. Do you have documentation, ma'am?" Sarah asked, her tone laced with doubt. Without a word, Eliza pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and handed it to Sarah. The confirmation email was clear. Her name, the flight number, and the destination. Sarah's eyes widened as she read it. She glanced at Eliza, then at Captain Harris, before handing the phone back. "Everything seems to be in order," Sarah admitted quietly. Captain Harris's jaw tightened, his face visibly stiff with discomfort. Reluctantly, he stepped aside. Eliza walked past him, her gaze unwavering. She didn't say a word, but the silence was louder than anything she could have said. Every step she took up the staircase to the jet was a quiet act of defiance against the unspoken assumptions that had been made about her. The turning point, the jet's interior was pure luxury. Leather seats and soft ivory lined the cabin. A dining table with crystal glasses and fresh orchids sat in the middle. It was a mobile sanctuary of success and elegance. Eliza had poured her heart into building her empire, and this jet was one of the symbols of that success. But as she admired the cabin, Captain Harris entered behind her, his steps heavier than before. Sarah and a younger flight attendant followed close behind. Dr. Westbrook, Captain Harris began his tone, stiff but formal. I'm afraid there's been some sort of mix-up with the manifest. This flight was arranged under specific protocols. Eliza turned slowly, her eyes meeting his with unflinching authority. I'm aware, she replied coolly. I arranged those protocols myself. There was a pause, a brief but heavy moment of realization. Captain Harris blinked, his confidence faltering. With all due respect, ma'am, he began, these are exclusive charters for Harper Enterprises executives. Eliza finished for him. Yes, I know. I'm CEO of Harper Enterprises. This is my jet. Her words hit like a thunderclap. Sarah's face went pale, and her eyes darted toward Captain Harris, who stood frozen. Silence filled the cabin, except for the faint hum of the engines. You assumed, Eliza continued, her voice steady but sharp, that I didn't belong here because of how I look. If it wasn't about my appearance, then what was it? Captain Harris opened his mouth, but no words came out. I've heard enough, Eliza said, cutting him off. She pulled out her phone and made a quick call. Yes, this is Dr. Eliza Westbrook. I need the terminal manager at Gate 7 immediately. There's an incident with my crew that needs to be addressed. Accountability and consequences. When the terminal manager arrived, Eliza wasted no time. Effective immediately, she said firmly. Captain Harris and Sarah are relieved of their duties. They no longer represent Harper Enterprises. But this was a misunderstanding, Captain Harris protested. No, Eliza replied, her eyes sharp as glass. It was a choice, and choices have consequences. The terminal manager nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. I'll process it immediately, Dr. Westbrook. Eliza glanced at the crew one last time. Her eyes were calm, but her words carried the weight of everything she'd endured to get where she was. Let this be a lesson, she said. Respect isn't optional. It's a requirement. The lesson and takeaway of this story isn't just about Dr. Eliza Westbrook. It's about every person who has ever been underestimated, dismissed, or judged unfairly. Eliza's response wasn't just about her own dignity. It was a stand for every person who's ever been told they don't belong. It's a powerful reminder that you never truly know who someone is or what they've achieved just by looking at them. Respect should be given, not earned. What would you do if you were in Eliza Westbrook's position? Would you have done the same? Would you have spoken up or let it slide? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If stories like this move you, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Epic Stories. Every story we share is a reminder that dignity, respect, and justice aren't privileges, they're rights. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more powerful stories like this one. Let's amplify the voices that matter. Together, we can create a world where everyone is valued for who they are, not how they look. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.